Are we good? We're live. Aloha, everyone. We are live and inspired today. I am your host, Gregory Cobra, also known on the interwebs as You Know It, Baby. Handsome Cobra. Oh, yeah. All right. Diggity, diggity now. Or giggity, giggity. You know it, baby. We are back again. As the title of this episode goes, it is A Gentleman with a Cocktail. And we are going over who is playing the Batman. Because, let me tell you, folks, certain people have been reporting that Robert Pattinson, not Paddington or Patterson or Patty Cakeson, Robert Pattinson is playing the Batman in Matt Reeves' The Batman. And then Deadline is reporting that actually Nicholas Hoult is actually in the running as well to play the Batman and Matt Reeves' The Batman. And even furthermore, Kick-Ass, the lead from Kick-Ass, Aaron Taylor Johnson, is also on the short list and on the running to play the Batman and Matt Reeves' The Batman. Can you believe it? I can. Not really. But we're gonna get down to it. So the nitty-gritty is basically the Hollywood Reporter and Variety came out with articles saying that basically, yeah, Robert Pattinson is basically the front runner, is the new Batman. And a lot of people and a lot of other outlets ran with that. And then Deadline said, whoa, wait a second, pump the brakes a minute. I think it was like 12 hours later. Deadline saying that, well, our sources are telling us that it's both, that Nicholas Hoult. We don't know who Nicholas Hoult is. He was from, I remember him from About a Boy with Hugh Grant. And I actually own that movie. And it's actually a really good movie. He plays the kid in that. Toni Collette plays his mom in that as well. She's really good in that. And Hugh Grant kind of plays like this really selfish mentor-esque type dude. Rachel Weisz is in it as well. It's a really good movie, but that's where I first saw Nicholas Hoult, and it's set in England, London, around that area. But if you don't know who Nicholas Hoult is, you may recognize him as Beast from the new X-Men movies, Days of Future Past, X-Men First Class, X-Men Apocalypse, and the new one, Dark Phoenix, that's coming out as well. And Nicholas Hoult was also in Warm Bodies. I actually thought he did a really good job in Warm Bodies. And he's actually playing J.R.R. Tolkien in Tolkien, the movie. And so yeah, that's where he's from. I would have to say if I think Robert Pattinson would actually do a better job as Bruce Wayne and Batman. And you have to understand that this is a bit of a different Batman. This is a more detective, because Batman is supposed to be the world's greatest detective. He's supposed to be actually better than Sherlock Holmes himself. And that's why Ra's al Ghul always calls him the detective. And I think that Pattinson has that charisma, that look. If you haven't seen the movie The Rover, I think he does a great job in it as a supporting character. Actually, he pulls off a pretty good American accent in that one. And I didn't realize that he was the English actor. I thought he was an Australian actor, but he's actually an English actor. What else? He also was in Good Time. I haven't seen it, but I've heard really good reviews about it. Cosmopolis, which is a David Cronenberg movie. And if you don't know who David Cronenberg is, he's the one that made Nightbreeders and the remake of The Fly with Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. Excuse me. My beard was itching. But yes, yes. Yeah, I mean, Nicholas Holt, I don't really believe he has the look. I mean, if we're gonna delve into it and dissect it a bit, I don't. I think he's really young. I don't. He reminds me of the dude David Marquez or the kid from Gotham. I don't really care for that. I don't think that he doesn't really have the, like I said before, he doesn't have the right look. He doesn't strike me as Aaron Taylor Johnson. No, he doesn't have the right look as well of Bruce Wayne. I mean, just, and I'm not talking about like physical, like I'm not talking about like being muscular. Listen, look, anybody can put on muscle. I thought Christian Bale did a hell of a job. I thought Christian Bale would have made a great Batman because of his performance in American Psycho. I actually saw American Psycho when it came out in movie theaters. That's how fucking old I am. And and uh and yeah, so hearing that Christian Bale, I mean, a lot of people even said Christian Newsies Christian Bale. It's like, bitch, you seen American Psycho? No. Yeah, it's like, well, motherfucker, see that shit. His portrayal of Patrick Bateman is fucking crazy. I mean, no one knows what it's called, American Psycho, but I mean, it's really, really good. And a lot of people, even people were skeptical about what's his nuts, Michael Keaton, because I knew Michael Keaton from Clean and Sober, right? And I knew him from Mr. Mom too, but my mom was really big into Clean and Sober, and then I saw Beetlejuice later on and stuff, and then I think Beetlejuice came out like a year or two before he was cast as Batman. But the original person they actually wanted for Batman in the Tim Burton one was actually Bill Murray, of all things. And the reason why is because of some of the 1966 Adam West Burt Ward show with Cesar Romero and all that shit. I mean, it's like, Julie Newmar and all that shit. I mean, it's like, I mean, Bill Murray would have been a fucked up Batman. I mean, thank Christ they didn't, because Bill Murray would have not have been a good actor. I don't even think he would have played as serious. He would have played stupid. I mean, Lost in Translation is when he got actually more into dramatic roles, but I mean, we're talking about like early 2000s. We're not talking about like fucking 80, late 80s, Bill Murray. I mean, the man did Ghostbusters for fuck's sake, and two. So it's like that was during that era, right? And that's when, and if he had played Bruce Wayne, it would have been in that same vein as, because Ghostbusters 2 came in '89. So, he would have shot both of them pretty much back to back. I mean, it would have, yeah, no. And that's like people about, being skeptical about Heath Ledger, about being the Joker and all that jazz. And because he was in a No Name and they were like A Knight's Tale. So basically, yeah, it's like, I mean, I don't care for Twilight, but it's like you can't fault people for doing certain things to get notice or notoriety, or just for a paycheck, right? I mean, shit. I mean, look at Sylvester Stallone. The dude was in a porn, for fuck's sake. The Italian Stallion. That's where he got his fucking name from. I mean, it may have been softcore porn, but still, it was a fucking porn. Jim Carrey was an extra in a porn. It's like, it's one of those things. I mean, you do what you do because you got to eat. It's like, so yeah, it's one of those things. I'm not saying that it's right, and I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying it's like, look at a person's body of work before you kind of judge them on just one thing. I mean, if you only knew Patrick Stewart from was it TNG, Star Trek: The Next Generation, and you're like, oh, Jean-Luc Picard, really? It's like, motherfucker, he's done other shit, man. He was in based off of David Lynch's Dune, before that. I mean, he was in a plethora of, I mean, the man is a Shakespearean thespian actor, right? I mean, it's it's one of those, I mean, that's like Anthony Hopkins. I mean, The dude was a understudy of Laurence Olivier, renowned fucking actor. You know, him and Peter O'Toole of that time. You know. So if you only know, was it Anthony Hopkins from fucking Thor as Odin, then you do not know that man's, or even just, I mean, I bet a lot of you don't even know what the fuck a doll's house is. You know, it's a short story that was actually made into a movie, and he actually is the father in that. He does a fantastic job. I mean, and it's a young Anthony, or younger Anthony Hopkins. I mean, the man is a phenomenal actor. And that's what you have when you have a mentor like Laurence of Olivier as a mentor. And so I'm like this, you know, if you haven't seen The Rover, if you have seen Good Time, if you have seen Cosmopolis, I mean, I haven't seen Cosmopolis. I hear that it's very divisive. I still want to see it, though. I had a chance to see it and I didn't, and I've been trying to get it on the cheap ever since because I don't want to spend like $15 on it for Blu-ray, but you know. But yeah, if you get a chance, yeah, watch that. Watch those movies. There's one that he's coming out with called, I believe, High Life. That's a science fiction one, horror science fiction esque, where he plays looks like he plays a convict out in space, and he has sex with, I guess, his therapist, and they have a kid together or some shit. It looks crazy, fucking weird. But I mean, he's a really good actor. I mean, and like I said before, I really did enjoy him in The Rover. I thought at first his character was annoying, but you know, I actually warmed up to his character. I thought it was really good. Nicholas Hoult, on the other hand, I just cannot see him playing Bruce Wayne or Batman. And I mean, it's like, if you see anything like Gotham when David Marquez was in the Batsuit, the guy, I mean, the Batsuit looked number one, it was cheaply fucking made. I mean, it looks stupid as hell. The kid looked dumb as fuck in it. And yeah, so it just, if you're gonna do Batman, you gotta do Batman proper. Robert Pattinson too has a really better jawline. Like, he has that square jawline. You know, basically that iconic superhero one. And if you're gonna go with a person who looks closer to Ben Affleck, I go Robert Pattinson. I mean, if you're gonna, it depends on what they do it. I mean, if they want to say that this is like Earth 3 Batman and not with the DCEU, then fine, fuck it. I will say this: the best Batman that we've had so far, and I was talking with one of my coworkers at GameStop, was Ben Affleck. Is Ben Affleck? I mean, I think, you know, my personal opinion, I think Matt Reeves is fucking retarded for not hiring the man. Myself, I mean, you know, you're a fucking idiot and retarded. I mean, for not hiring the man. I mean, the man is 6'5". He's fucking 200 some odd pounds. I mean, the guy was born to play fucking Batman. I mean, he has the stats. I mean, the guy, if you've seen Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, motherfucker doing CrossFit and shit. I mean, you know, and Ben Affleck is not that old to where, I mean, he could pass off to be like in his early 30s. The man's like 40s, early 40s. Now he's getting into his mid 40s. But still, he could pass off. You know, not early 20s, but, you know. But the thing about Batman is always, not, see, this is the thing about the comic books, right? Comic books, Batman and Superman are in their basically early to mid 30s. That's like their prime, right? Because they're not young enough to be naive, but they are old enough to be fucking seasoned, right? So they have some years underneath their belts. And they have that like 8-10 year time frame as to when they started to be seasoned and primed and ready, but they're still young enough to be hungry, still young enough to want to bring justice for the just and crack down on the unjust the wrongdoers and all that, superhero shit, right? So yeah, that's the prime. I mean, usually it's like 32, 33, 36 at most is like the pinnacle. I mean, that's the prime of both Superman and Batman. I mean, if you're telling me that Ben Affleck can't pull that shit off, fuck you, he can. I mean, that's just you're dead wrong. And if you want to go with a younger Batman, that's Bruce Wayne, that's in their like late 20s, it's like that's or like mid 20s. That's just fucking dumb. I mean, it really is. I mean, it just is. I mean, Ben Affleck, I mean, the dude has a full head of hair. He's not balding. The guy, he looks younger than what he is. I mean, the only reason why he looks older is because, well, yeah, the man's getting gray hair and stuff, but still, I mean, it's like, you can do hair dye. I mean, they do that all the fucking time, or CGI his fucking hair to where, there's no gray. Or CGI it brown or whatever. I mean, fuck. I mean, they spent like $1 million to CGI Twitz's Nuts' fucking hands, Daniel Craig's hands in Skyfall, because he wore fucking gloves because they were really nice gloves. And he wanted to wear them. Because and the thing was, they couldn't do any fucking thing because the scene before he walks into the building, he's not wearing gloves. So why the hell is he wearing gloves with this briefcase in his hand or whatever the fuck? I mean, it's so dumb. I mean, Daniel Craig, once again, I mean, I don't, guy's a fucking idiot. But, that's why that's why it wasn't a sequel to Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, because the guy's an idiot. He may be an okay Bond. He's not, I mean, he'll never be my favorite. I mean, the best movie that Daniel Craig did was Casino Royale, but the best Bond, in my personal opinion, Pierce Brosnan. A lot of people will say Sean Connery. That's cool. And, my favorite, he may be the best. Sean Connery may be the best. Never big into Roger Moore, but I've always seen Pierce Brosnan as a good mixture of the two. That's why he's my favorite. I love GoldenEye. GoldenEye is my favorite movie out of all of them. As Sean Bean, as 006, Alec, and I love Tomorrow Never Dies. Die Another Day was okay. World's Not Enough, I did not like that one, I will say that. But the first two Bonds, I really did. Pierce Brosnan Bonds, I did. I love GoldenEye. Like I said before, GoldenEye is the shit. I remember playing the video game on N64, having that shit. And then Tomorrow Never Dies, I remember actually, a funny little fact, I actually went to the premiere of GoldenEye with my godfather and my father, and of that movie. And because my godfather, he's big into James Bond, man. Like, that motherfucker, I mean, all the way back to, Dr. No, the first one with Sean Connery. My father, too. My father's big Bond dude. And yeah, we went to the premiere and stuff like that, and it was pretty cool, man. It was cool. And yeah, but yeah, so that, I mean, and yeah, I may have a biases because of that, because I got to go to the Bond premiere and all that shit. But yeah, I mean, it was Pierce Brosnan, so but yeah, getting back on the Batman, sorry. Yeah, Robert Pattinson, I think he would be. I did like him in Goblet of Fire. I didn't even know that was him in Goblet of Fire until my brother told me it was him. But yeah, he definitely will make a better Batman, in my personal opinion. I mean, he has the look, he has the charisma, he has the stature. I think he's like 6'1". Nicholas Hoult, he's 6'3". But Nicholas Hoult looks, like, in my personal opinion, man, I mean, he looks goofy and gangly. Like, he would be more Nicholas Hoult would be more of a Scarecrow type-esque than a Batman. I mean, if Nicholas Hoult was old enough to be Scarecrow instead of Cillian Murphy in the Christopher Nolan, I would have picked that dude, because literally Nicholas Hoult is more of a a Scarecrow, Dr. Crane. I think it's Miles Crane, something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I know it's Dr. Crane. But yeah, he would most definitely be more of a Scarecrow type, not a Batman Bruce Wayne type. I will say this: one person who could have pulled it off if Christian Bale wasn't picked as Batman for the Chris Nolans would be Guy Pearce. Hands down, man. Guy Pearce is, and if you don't know who Guy Pearce is, the first movie that got him on the map was LA Confidential. He played one of the main characters, Ed Exley, opposite of Russell Crowe and James Cromwell. Kevin Spacey was in it as well, Danny DeVito, Kim Basinger. I mean, there was an all-star cast. I own that movie also too on Blu-ray. I love that movie. It is a phenomenal fucking movie. What's his name? They were supposed to have a sequel to that what's his name was attached to it. George Clooney for like years. Also, Leonardo DiCaprio was attached to it as well too. I can't remember it's like the Devil in the City or something like that, or the White Devil in the City. I can't remember. But it's a sequel to LA Confidential, and Edmund Exley is like I think he's the lieutenant or chief of police at that time. Excuse me. And the main character is a different character, but you would have seen Edmund Exley in that. Now, whether or not Guy Pearce would have came back, who knows? But yeah, Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce is really. I mean, he was in was it Ravenous? He was in that movie as well. He also was in Bedtime Stories. He played Dr. Killian in Iron Man 3. He was the real Mandarin. And the reason why I do air quotes is because the simple fact is that they fucking Marvel came out with a fucking short that said that basically, no, he wasn't the Mandarin, that there's another Mandarin, which it was like, I thought it was really cool that he was the Mandarin, that it was him all along. That was really good. Shane Black wrote it that way. And then what happens? Marvel fucking retcons it. That's the only thing I have. And also, too, the Mandarin wasn't even supposed to be fucking him in the first place. It was actually supposed to be Rebecca Hall. She was supposed to originally be the fucking Mandarin. But the thing was, here's the fucked up part, and this is true, is that Rebecca Hall went on and she said basically at the last minute they changed it because they didn't think that her character, her being female, wouldn't have sold much toys, which is fucking bullshit. Who fucking cares? But still, she was originally supposed to be the Mandarin, then Killian, and then Guy Pearce's Dr. Killian was the Mandarin. Then they retconned it again with that stupid fucking short. I mean, it's a good short. I've seen it. But still, it's just, you didn't have to do that. But yeah, Guy Pearce, he was also with Dr. Whalen in Prometheus. There was actually supposed to be a scene with him being younger, but for some reason they wanted for him to go older, which is Guy Pearce. The guy is like in his like late 40s, early 50s. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it at all. Another guy who could have. I now people may get on me about this, and that's cool. But at the time, the man would have played a great Batman, Bruce Wayne, in Tim Burton's Batman, and that would have been Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson was the right age. He was hot off of Lethal Weapon 1, and then Lethal Weapon 2 came out, I think, in 87, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 85, I can't remember, which I own both. I know I know a lot of people have problems with Mel Gibson now, and I understand that. And the man done said some fucked up shit. And I'm not talking about Mel Gibson from like 10 years ago. I'm talking about Mel Gibson before the crazy. Maybe he had always been crazy, but it wasn't known that he was fucking crazy. He would have played a phenomenal, fucking phenomenal, better than Michael Keaton. And I'll say it, and I'll put it to the T, man. Better than Michael Keaton. Because he was hot, man. He was on, like, that dude could not do fucking wrong back in the 80s, bro. After Mad Max, that dude was on a fucking high roll, man. Like, his trajectory just straight the fuck up, man. Couldn't do any wrong, man. You know, after Mad Max, after Road Warrior, and Beyond Thunderdome came out too, around 87, I believe. Around that time, dude, he would have been a fucking great Batman. Bruce Wayne. Because the thing was is that Tim Burton's Batman, he wasn't supposed to be this big bulky. The reason why he wore the body armor, the reason why Tim Burton's gone on record, the reason why he wore all this shit, because he wasn't a hulking dude. You know, Tim Burton's Batman is like really different than fucking the Batman from the comic books. It just looks cool as fuck, and a lot of people accepted that shit. But if we're going with comic book accurate fucking Batman, Ben Affleck, hands down. Hands down. Because he does kicks and flips and all this other shit. Christian Bale Batman is a fucking boxer in a bat suit. He doesn't do any kicks. He barely fucking... he can barely punch in the damn suit. I mean, I don't even think one fucking time he actually kicks in the damn suit. I mean, maybe in Batman Begins, but in The Dark Knight and fucking Dark Knight Rises, hell no. Hell no. I mean, Ben Affleck's Batman, Batfleck, is like the fucking comic book accurate Batman. Doesn't matter if we're talking about Dark Knight Returns or whatever the fuck, man. Frank Miller Batman, don't matter. He is actual like comic book accurate Batman because he does all the acrobatics, all the shit, all the flips, jump kicks, fucking side kicks, fucking hanging off buildings and shit, you know, all that crap with the, you know, bat grappling gun and all this crazy wacko Satan shit. Yeah. And basically a person, you know, I had to correct a coworker of mine because they were like, oh, he only acted in 2. I'm like, technically he acted in 3 because he was the Batman in Suicide Squad. Every swinging dick motherfucker, you know, forgets that shit. Yeah, he was in Suicide Squad. Ben Affleck was. You know, he had a trailer and everything, you know, as the Batman, you know. Because there's 2 scenes of him where he's out going after Harley Quinn and the Joker, and there's another scene of him getting the intel from Amanda Waller about Deadshot, Floyd Lawton, and that's when Floyd Lawton, Will Smith is with his daughter, and like, you know, they go into the alley, and Batman basically takes them in. And then at the end, at the post-credit scene, he's Bruce Wayne getting the intel from Amanda Waller on basically the potential Justice League people. Basically going in deeper in the files that he cracked from Lex Luthor from Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. So yeah, Mel Gibson. I think that, you know, and if they would have done if they would have done a Batman with Russell Crowe, Russell Crowe would have been a phenomenal Batman too. Like Russell Crowe, I mean, have you seen the movie Gladiator with him? He was the guy fucking, I mean, it won Best Picture. I don't know if he won Best Actor for it, but he, you know, his portrayal, Maximus Decimus Meridius, leader of the 5 Legions of the North, and all that shit. I mean, the man did a phenomenal, just magnificent fucking portrayal of that character. And for years they've been trying to do a fucking sequel to that shit with Russell Crowe. Now it's a foregone conclusion. I can't really do it. But yeah, because it's like basically they were going to be like, well, what if he doesn't die? What if he, goes to the Elysium Fields and basically his wife and child are like, not yet, and basically, wakes up and fucking while they're taking him off to bury him, he's like, whoa, hey, I'm still alive, ain't dead yet. Yeah, because that's what Ridley Scott wanted to do, but fucking, didn't happen. It won't happen now. He's too fucking old. But yeah, Russell Crowe would have been a great Batman as well, Bruce Wayne Batman. I could see it. I mean, even if you wanted to go a harder Batman, just like him, more grizzled, more gruff. Him been doing it for so many years, and he's just like fucking tired. Or he's just weathered. And I mean, Ben Affleck's Batman, you could say is that, but not really, because he basically was Batman, retired as Batman, and then basically just lived the persona of Bruce Wayne for so fucking long. He got so comfortable in it, he didn't give a shit anymore about Batman. And then he sees this fucking alien, come out of the fucking, sees alien ship come out of the sky and basically blames Superman for this shit because it's his people. Yeah. And he's like, I gotta take this fucker down. And he comes out of retirement. Yeah, he's grizzled and stuff like that, but he's not. But he's not still in the game where Russell Crowe's Batman would still be doing it. I mean, it would be more of kind of like you can tell he's been doing it for too long, and his days are numbered, right? He hasn't retired yet, but he probably still has like another 3 to 5 years left in him, and he's in the criminal elements, the crime fighting is just taking a toll on him. But yeah, but that's now I kind of wanted to put that element into just in perspective of people who I could see as a good Batman. I mean, a lot of people talk about Armie Hammer. Honestly, I think Armie Hammer would be a better Hal Jordan. I mean, people have been talking about him, and I'm like, yeah, I could see him as more as a Hal Jordan, just because of I could see him being very charismatic. Where Bruce Wayne kind of acts charismatic is not really charismatic. It's more pretending to be charismatic and very hoity-toity. Where Armie Hammer, if you've seen him in The Lone Ranger, which I know got a lot of flack, I actually liked him in The Lone Ranger. I didn't think it was a bad movie. I actually liked Johnny Depp in the movie. I didn't really think that their portrayals were bad. I think that the movie was kind of bad. And the movie just went on for too fucking long at times. But their portrayals of those characters, Johnny Depp as Tonto and him as the Lone Ranger, were not. I mean, they were not bad. And Armie Hammer, I think, did a fantastic job, and I could definitely see him as Green Lantern. So, and it's kind of fun fact: the Lone Ranger is actually a descendant of the Green Hornet. So, there you go. Another green character. But or has the name Green in it. So. But yeah, Armie Hammer for Green Lantern, because I know he was supposed to be Batman in Justice League Immortal with what's his name, George Miller. Who is it? Oh man, Mad Max movies and all that stuff. Yeah, but still, I mean, it's like, yeah, if you've seen The Social Network and how he plays the brothers, yeah, that's how Hal Jordan kind of acts, basically. A lot of the time. Just very sardonic in tone and nature, but also kind of a bit, it's more sardonic joking, right? Yeah, that's how Hal Jordan is. But he also can be serious at times too. The problem with Ryan Reynolds, I thought Ryan Reynolds did a great job with Hal Jordan, and I didn't have a problem with it. But it's hard, but you gotta also understand too. This is when they were in talks about him being Deadpool. I mean, there was in talks of him being Deadpool way fucking back. That's why when people say like this dude's been trying to get Deadpool off for 10 fucking years, that's what that means. I mean, before Deadpool was Deadpool, like, you know, prior to Deadpool, the announce of him making a Deadpool movie, 10 years he been having this in the hopper, right? Trying to get this shit going. But Fox, being the dumbasses as they were, didn't want to fucking, you know, gamble on Ryan fucking Reynolds. You know, the guy from Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, and then it switched to Two Guys and a Girl, which just sounds like some like fucked up porno shit, but okay. And then that show got canceled. It didn't fucking matter. But Ryan Reynolds was pretty much the best thing that came out of that shit. Not even the girl or the other guy. And then he did Van Wilder. National Lampoon's Van Wilder. I mean, with Tara Reid, and look where the fuck she's at now. I mean, looking like fucking, you know, Miss Skeletor and shit. But yeah, so. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds, born to play Deadpool, not really a good Hal Jordan. Just his comedic timing and presence isn't Hal Jordan. It's not really Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan is, like I said before, it's more of an Armie Hammer, and I could definitely see Armie Hammer in that role. So, but yeah, but that's I just wanted to break it down a little bit, talk about, you know, who is in the running for Batman, who I think would be the better Batman when it comes to acting wise. You know, Robert Pattinson or Nicholas Hoult or Aaron Taylor Johnson. Like I said before, he's also in the running. You know, out of those three, and at the end of the day, like I said before, Robert Pattinson to me is the better candidate. And also too, the Hollywood Reporter basically came out, and after the deadline stuff, they came out like, I think like 40 minutes or 12. I can't see. I don't know if theirs was 12 hours or like 40 minutes after the deadline one hit. They were like, okay, hey, well hold up, listen, look, okay, Robert Pattinson is actually the front runner because they're in heavy talks with him. Number one, he's been doing costume testings. He's been doing a tremendous amount of acting scenes, like dialogue scenes. Basically, the Hollywood Reporter said that, listen, look, they don't want to have another flubub like what happened with Ben Affleck. They want him to be a Batman for a long period of time. And basically, the reason why they're having him to go through this fucking crucible, right, of a pre-production or pre-signing shit, because they want to make sure that he's going to abide by the fucking rules and abide by all the shit that comes with being the Batman. But that's their that's their golden boy right now. And he's going through all this rigorous shit. Not Nicholas Hoult, not Aaron Taylor Johnson. Nobody except for Robert Pattinson is, because they want to make damn sure that he ain't going to back the fuck out or do some crazy stupid shit, that he's going to be in it to fucking win it. And nobody else is going through that shit. And that's what the Hollywood Reporter was reported on. And their latest article that came out not too long ago. I actually was reading it today before work, and I was like, that's pretty fucking sweet. So yeah, Robert Pattinson. Like I said before, if you haven't seen The Rover with Guy Pearce, if you haven't seen Good Time, if you haven't seen Cosmopolis, if you haven't seen High Life, High Life. If you haven't seen, there's another movie with him. He's coming out with another movie, an event film with Christopher Nolan. And he's going to be in the new Christopher Nolan film. I mean, the man is a phenomenal actor. I mean, he's really, really good. I mean, Goblet of Fire, like I said, you know, Harry Potter and Goblet of Fire, I really liked him as a Cedric, whatever the fuck. But he's a good actor. And that's where he kind of made his bones, was Harry Potter back in 2005. So yeah, Robert Pattinson. If you're hooked up on the Twilight stuff, don't be. Check these other movies that I've recommended to you and stuff like that. And yeah, and hey, like I said, I'm going to wind it down now. Sign off. I've been off for like 40 minutes. And that's kind of like where I wanted to be. So yeah, once again, this is Handsome Cobra, Gregory Cobrana signing off, saying, love to all, God bless, and as always, babies, you know it. Aloha. Thanks again, everybody.